Welcome to the Balkan Beat. I am Zoya Naskov. In today's show, the second segment of our Macedonia series, we will concentrate on the Macedonian economy. First, we will present some news from the Macedonian Information and Liaison Service in Brussels, Belgium. Then we have an interview with Dr. Jan Miljovski, a minister in the government of the Republic of Macedonia. Dr. Miljovski is in charge of the privatization of industries in Macedonia, and he will explain this process in detail. We will close the show with a beautiful Macedonian folk song and a montage of Macedonian faces and landscapes. According to MILS, the Macedonian Information and Liaison Service, and the Balkan Information Pool, former U.S. Secretary of State Cyrus Vance will act as a mediator in talks between Macedonia and Greece. United Nations Secretary General Boutros Boutros-Ghali has asked that the Greek and Macedonian governments come to agreement on their disputes before the UN General Assembly, which convenes on September 21st, 1993. Over the weekend of July 10th and 11th, 1993, in the Macedonian town of Delchevo, a joint Macedonian, Bulgarian, Albanian commission convened to discuss the most suitable route for the railway line that will connect the three countries, providing an overland route from the Black Sea to the Adriatic Sea. The three countries are appealing to the international community and the World Bank to assist in financing the project. The new transportation corridor will be of broad international significance as well as regional importance. Goods will travel from North Africa to Southern Europe, and most of all to the republics of the former Soviet Union. They will arrive in the Albanian port of Durrës, transferred by rail through Albania and Macedonia to the Bulgarian port of Varna, and from there sent by sea to their various destinations. The refugee problem, due to the war in Bosnia-Herzegovina, has reached new heights. Some sources estimate 2 million people have been displaced because of the three-sided war in the former Yugoslav state. The reported numbers of refugees vary widely, but the most conservative estimate of the number of Bosnians seeking refuge in the Republic of Macedonia is 28,000. Some sources place the actual number at closer to 100,000. The government of Macedonia has been actively seeking international relief aid to assist the refugees.
Neko ugovorno, ali imamo li snada da kažem? Daj posjetiti mi neko avion. Što kaže neko pesmu? Daj Bože, ja da možeš. Samo me mrziš.
to help us make us what we are today. We'd like to thank you and say that without you, the tendency to do that wouldn't happen.
We're talking with Yane Bilyovsky, who is minister in the government of Macedonia in charge of the economic transformation that is going on and the privatization of industries. What is the situation here now in Macedonia, politically and economically, considering everything that's going on?
You know, Macedonia has undergone a great amount of changes, democratic changes. We introduced multilateral system. We have a parliamentarian system. With parliaments, there are always difficulties, but it functions. It proves that it functions. We are the only republic from former Yugoslavia where there have been no fightings. We have quite a huge amount of Albanians living in Macedonia, but they are also sitting in the parliament, so that means all the disputes are solved there. There are sometimes problems. There are always somebody who doesn't think that his rights are properly maintained in the system, but we stick to it with discussions, with talks on a green table, not with bullets, with fightings. Yeah.
And you are in charge of all the economical changes that are going on, the privatization of industries. How is all that going on, considering, again, the situation?
Yes, if you compare Macedonia with other Eastern European countries, you would make a big mistake, because Macedonia is a country where the market, or I would say halfway market system, existed for more than 25 years. Actually, we had the market for commodities, but we didn't have the labor market and we didn't have the capital market. And that's what we are introducing now. That means the changes in Macedonia are smoother than in other Eastern European countries. That means we are talking about different qualities. The people here know what does it mean to live and to work in a market system, in a system of market economy. It is not a totally new thing to them. So we are just changing the structure of the ownership of our enterprises who were totally independent from the government in the previous 25 years. But now we have seen that the so-called social ownership doesn't work, and so we introduced the private ownership as it is known in all the Western countries, the same model. And the problem is to privatize the enterprises without causing a disaster in the economy of the land. It is no problem to change the owners. There are thousands of ways to doing that, but the main thing is to do it without causing an economic crisis. So we developed a special program for privatization, which is specially made for the Macedonian economy, which means we take in consideration all the problems and all the characteristics of Macedonia as an economic entity, and we have made a program which could be very, very easy to implement in Macedonia. The first characteristic of the privatization in Macedonia is that we are going to sell the enterprises, not giving away the shares. It's not because the states want the money, it's just because we think in market economy you can go only with market transformation. Giving away a share is not a market category. And that is the first characteristic. We are selling the enterprises, which is something very different from the all other Eastern European countries. If we could compare, our model is more likely to German, East German model than to other countries. Secondly, we are dividing all the enterprises in three groups. This division is made according to the large, small enterprises, medium-sized enterprises. That means for Macedonia, small enterprises are with less than 50 employees. Medium-sized enterprises are between 50 and 250 employees, and above 50 employees they are large enterprises. Of course, we take the capital also in consideration to say if an enterprise is a small or medium size. The small enterprises are going to a very easy scheme of privatization. They are going to be sold out on an auction. We just advertise that we are selling an enterprise, so anybody ready to give the money for them is welcome to do so. But the problem we are facing in Macedonia is actually that we don't have the capital to buy our enterprises, and the foreign buyers for the moment are not likely to come because they are afraid a little bit of the war in our neighborhood. They don't distinguish Macedonia from the other parts of old Yugoslavia. They don't realize that here it was 2 years of peaceful development, peaceful democratic development. Anyway, we will try to convince them that Macedonia is safe to invest, but we have to concentrate on our own people because they are more likely, will be ready to buy our enterprise. So if nobody is ready to pay the full price of an enterprise, we are introducing a system of they can buy, for example, for small enterprises, more than 50% of the value of the enterprise, and in the next 5 years or in the next 3 years to pay back the rest of 50%. Yes, that means if they are able, if they have the idea what to do with an enterprise, then they can buy it with installments. And the same scheme goes for the middle-sized enterprises and for large enterprises. But for middle-sized enterprise, the entrance fee, I would call it so, is 20%, and for large enterprises is 10%. It means future owner of the enterprise buys 20% of the shares, but he is obliged to buy 51%. And that's one other characteristic. We are actually selling the dominant shareholding of the company. That means we are searching for the dominant owner. We are not spreading the shares among the population because we want to concentrate the ownership in the hand of one or many persons, but who are able and who are responsible and who will change the management and the decision-making process in an enterprise. And also because we want them to control the enterprise and to stop all these nasty things that are going on in the social enterprise.
So what kind of opportunities, what kind of rights do foreign investors have in your country?
We generally decided to give the foreigners the same rights as domestic people have. So there will be no discrimination towards a foreign investor. That means he has all the rights a domestic one has. Also he has the rights to take out the profits whenever he wants, and we will try to make the system that way so he will be actually interested in investing in our country. That means we will try to do the system of taxes which will be at least for 1% lower than for all our neighbors, all our neighboring countries.
Right.
So that is one thing that is important for investors. On the other side, Macedonia can offer to the foreign investor a very good educated labor, which is not so often in other countries, much better than in all our neighboring states, because we have lived for 25 years, lived in a country with a way of living which is very near to the Western standards, and also with an education which is very similar to the Western education. That means if a foreign investor comes here, then he will find a climate very similar to his native land. That means that he doesn't have to change his way of acting, his way of doing business. Also, we will change the economic system that way so that all Western investors will be familiar with the system. That means the taxation system will be the same like in Western Europe or anywhere in developed countries. Then we can offer a foreign investor a central position on the market, which is very important. That is, basing his business in Macedonia, he can operate very easily with Bulgaria, I hope in future times also Greece, Albania, Serbia, and actually that is happening. Many modern firms have changed from Belgrade and from Zagreb. They have moved to Skopje and they have their representatives here because they find Skopje is the best position for doing business on the Balkans, because it is peaceful, it has a good quality of life, good standards of living. So that means when you want to make a business on this part of the world, Macedonia is one of the best places to place a business.
You spoke at the Congress about the new corridor that will be moving from Albania all the way to Turkey, so there will be a good connection. A very good connection, because in the tradition there was the north-south connection from Macedonia to Europe and towards the world. Thessaloniki, Belgrade, Zagreb and so on. But this war, this terrible war in Yugoslavia has shown that this corridor is not safe, and we don't know how long it will stay so. Then we have seen also that we have neglected a very important corridor west-east, which brings Macedonia very near to Western Europe. Through Albania, across the Adriatic Sea, we are actually in Italy. So that means Italy will be connected with Albania, Macedonia, Bulgaria, Turkey, and that means also a very good connection to Russia and Ukraine. So again, something which is very much important for the business. But that means that we have to work together with the Albanian government and with the Bulgarian government in developing this corridor, and so far we all agree that it is very necessary for us. We will try to find some money on the open market to finance this corridor, which is not only important for us, it's important for the world. I think this connection between the West, West Europe and Middle East, Asia and yes, an excellent, until now not used corridor. And one more question. What does Macedonia have to offer to the world in means of what kind of natural resources does it have? What kind of industries does it have that are already developed?
Yes, if I would judge which industry is most developed, it is actually the production of food in Macedonia. And actually the characteristic is a healthy food, without too much chemicals. Perhaps because a little bit of our underdevelopment, but thank God we didn't do it. We didn't use too much chemicals for our products, because they grow by their own. So actually we can offer a very quality, healthy food to the world. That is the main that we offer. But there are also some products of the mining industry, metallic and non-metallic, then also the machinery tools industry. There are also chemical factories from the chemical side. What should I say? Very developed civil engineering firms which work to the whole world. They work for Germany, for Arabian countries, for Soviet Union, and so on and so on.
And what does it have to offer culturally?
Culturally, it has. It is very difficult to say it at once, but we have quite a good cultural life here. In summer we have many international festivals. That means one is the Ohrid Summer, it's mostly concentrated on music, on classical music, but also on drama. And there come musicians from all over the world, from east and west. They perform in Ohrid, and it's a festival excellent reputation. Again, there is in Struga, nearby Ohrid, a World Festival of the Poetry, which is unique, I think, in the world. Nobody has a poetry festival. And the poets all around the world learn to love Macedonia because this unique festival. But everybody is saying the things that are from biggest interest of him, so my biggest interest is jazz actually, and Skopje is having one of the best jazz festivals in Europe for years, for many years, for 20 years. And I think if you ask around the New York scene, the New York jazz scene, many people there know about Skopje. They have been here, they have performed here, and now we are trying to keep this festival working, because this crisis is very dangerous. We can't bring the people in, but we are doing all our best to stay the best festival in Europe for jazz music, which is very important. Last year we were very happy that we could actually have the jazz festival. In our neighborhood there was the war going on, but Macedonia, what have we done? Okay, we were against the war, and we have shown we should preoccupy ourselves with the culture. That means we should go to a jazz festival.
Certainly. Live in peace.
Yes.
And do peaceful things. Thank you very much for your time, and I wish you luck with all of your future endeavors.
Thank you.